If you're on the hunt for the absolute best modern games that truly redefine what it means to be a masterpiece, you're in the right place. I've searched the gaming world and had to make some tough calls. Only 15 slots to fill for this video meant that not everything could make the cut. What I've gathered here are the games that stand head and shoulders above the rest. From stunning visuals to stories that leave you breathless, these titles are more than just great, they're unforgettable. So, without further ado, let's get started. Kicking off our list, we have Baldur's Gate 3. Call me biased or whatever you want, but I personally think that Baldur's Gate 3 is a true gem in modern RPGs. It's got everything you'd want from a D&D inspired game. Stunning visuals, deep character customization, and a narrative that sinks its teeth into you right from the start. The world of Faerun is harsh and unforgiving, and Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't hold your hand through it. It's the kind of game that might make you second-guess your decisions, but when you really dive in, it's impossible to pull away. You're constantly faced with branching paths, each leading to encounters with unforgettable characters and tactical battles that challenge your every move. And even though the game was already huge at launch, Larian Studios has been rolling out updates, adding even more layers to this intricate world. Every choice you make echoes through your adventure, from the alliances you form to the enemies you create. And with its complex storylines and the rich, atmospheric world, Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't just invite you to play, it demands your full attention. Whether you're aiming to uncover every secret or simply make it to the end credits, this is one journey that you'll be thinking about long after it's over. Next up, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Nintendo's latest entry in the Zelda series, Tears of the Kingdom, reminds us exactly why Link's adventures have remained legendary for decades. Just as Breath of the Wild revolutionized open-world design with its physics-based interactions and non-linear exploration, Tears of the Kingdom pushes the boundaries of what's possible in the genre, offering a world that feels even more alive and reactive. It's the kind of game that makes you want to spend hours just wandering, because every nook and cranny holds the potential for discovery, whether it's a hidden shrine, a new ability, or a breathtaking view that you weren't expecting. What's more, Tears of the Kingdom introduces sky-high islands that float above Hyrule, adding verticality and an entirely new dimension to exploration. The game's mechanics are fine-tuned to perfection, from the fluid combat system to the seamless integration of new powers that let you manipulate the world in ways you never imagined. The story is epic, filled with emotional highs and lows, making every battle and puzzle feel significant. Even after completing the main quest, the world still calls to you, promising more secrets to uncover. In a time when open-world games are everywhere, Tears of the Kingdom sets a new benchmark for what they can achieve, reminding us why Zelda remains a touchstone in gaming history. Moving forward, we have the racing game from Playground Games, Forza Horizon 5. Every time you start Forza Horizon 5, you're dropped into an open-world festival of speed where the roads, deserts, and jungles of Mexico await your tire tracks. In this vibrant racer, you're free to drive however you want, whether that means tearing across sand dunes, weaving through dense forests, or cruising along the coastline. The game's dynamic weather system changes how you experience each drive, with tropical storms and blinding sandstorms creating thrilling challenges that keep you on your toes. What really sets Forza Horizon 5 apart is how it constantly rewards your curiosity and desire to explore. Whether you're discovering hidden barns with classic cars inside or stumbling upon unexpected jumps that send you soaring through the air, there's always something new around the next bend. The Horizon Festival is more than just races. It's a celebration of car culture where every race, stunt, and event you participate in builds towards an ever-expanding world. And if you ever feel overwhelmed, the game's map is your best friend, highlighting areas where there's still more to discover or challenges to complete. With a stunningly detailed world that feels alive with the sound of roaring engines and cheering crowds, Forza Horizon 5 isn't just about racing, it's about the joy of the journey itself. The thrill of discovery never ends, and each drive feels like a new adventure waiting to happen. Next on the list is God of War Ragnarok. How many people were prepared for just how epic this would be? Santa Monica Studio has delivered some remarkable games, but God of War Ragnarok stands as its magnum opus. Building on the rich mythology and intense narrative of its predecessor, Ragnarok takes you deeper into the 9 realms, each teeming with gods, monsters, and secrets waiting to be uncovered. The dynamic between Kratos and Atreus evolves beautifully as they navigate a world on the brink of collapse, filled with stunning vistas and formidable foes. The addition of new weapons and abilities adds layers to the already satisfying combat, making every encounter feel fresh and challenging. Each realm you visit is like a masterfully crafted level, with standout moments like the epic battle in Asgard or the eerie journey through Helheim, making it impossible to pick a favorite. The game's story is an emotional roller coaster, packed with twists, betrayals, and moments that will stay with you long after the credits roll. Whether you're in it for the gripping narrative, the brutal combat, or the thrill of exploration, God of War Ragnarok offers an experience that's as immersive as it is unforgettable. This is a journey you'll want to see through to the end, whether you choose to face the gods head-on or explore every hidden corner of this beautifully dark world. God of War Ragnarok is definitely worth playing. Up next is Pendin. Pendin just burst onto the scene and flipped the script on historical gaming. This ain't your grandpa's dusty history lesson. It's a full-on medieval murder mystery that'll have you glued to your screen. Obsidian Entertainment, the mad geniuses behind this masterpiece, somehow managed to cram an entire 16th century Bavarian town into a game that looks like it crawled straight out of an illuminated manuscript. But don't let the artsy-fartsy visuals fool you. Pendin's got more depth than you can think of. You're dropped into the shoes of Andreas Mailer, a regular Joe artist who gets tangled up in some seriously twisted plot lines. And let me tell you, the choices you make ain't just for show. Every little decision can send ripples through the whole dang story. What really sets Pendin apart is how it manages to make the old times feel fresh as hell. The devs clearly went ham on the research, because this game oozes historical accuracy from every pore. But instead of being a snooze fest, it turns all that juicy medieval drama, we're talking class struggles, religious beef, and more secrets than a confessional, into a riveting yarn that'll keep you up way past your bedtime. While other games are busy chasing the latest graphics fad or multiplayer craze, Pendin proves that sometimes all you need is a killer story and the guts to tell it in a unique way. It's a reminder of just how powerful and weird this medium can be when developers swing for the fences. Trust me, once you start unraveling Pendin's mysteries, you won't be able to put it down. Up next, we have Deathloop. This is one of the most innovative shooters to come along in years. It's stylish, complex, and packed with clever ideas that keep you engaged for dozens of hours. The island of Black Reef is a dangerous playground, and Deathloop doesn't hold your hand as you explore it. That might turn some players off initially, but once it clicks, it's incredibly hard to put down. Multiple districts open up and offer various paths to pursue at any given time, but no matter where you go, there are intriguing targets to eliminate and significant abilities to unlock that make you more powerful. And even though it was already an ambitious game, Deathloop has only gotten better since its launch in 2021. Developer Arcane Studios released several free updates with new weapons and accessibility options, each enhancing the experience. But whether you just want to break the loop, uncover the true ending, or push to perfect your runs, Black Reef is a world worth getting lost in. The blend of tight gunplay, supernatural powers, and intricate level design creates a uniquely satisfying experience that showcases why Arcane is at the top of their game. Next on the list is Disco Elysium: The Final Cut. This version builds on the revolutionary foundation laid by the original release, transforming an already exceptional RPG into an unparalleled masterpiece of interactive storytelling. The developer's bold reimagining of the RPG genre eschews traditional combat in favor of a narrative-driven experience where words are your weapons and thoughts are your arena. Set in the crumbling city of Revachol, you embody an amnesiac detective tasked with solving a murder mystery, but the case quickly unfolds into a complex tapestry of political intrigue and personal redemption. The game's unique skill system personifies different aspects of your psyche, turning internal dialogues into full-fledged characters that influence your decisions and perceptions. This innovative approach creates a truly immersive role-playing experience, where your personality evolves organically through choices and interactions. The Final Cut Edition enhances this framework with full voice acting, bringing the eccentric cast to life and adding new quests that further flesh out the rich world of Revachol. The game's striking watercolor art style and haunting soundtrack complement the narrative depth, creating a sensory experience that lingers long after the credits roll. If you haven't played this game before, I suggest that you give it a try. Next up is Spelunky II. Spelunky 2 takes the groundbreaking roguelike platforming of the original and launches it to the moon, quite literally. Derek Yu's sequel builds on the addictive, procedurally generated spelunking of its predecessor, offering a familiar, yet entirely fresh adventure that's as challenging as it is rewarding. Set on the lunar surface, players guide Anna Spelunky, daughter of the first game's hero, through treacherous caverns filled with new enemies, traps, and secrets. The core gameplay loop remains intact. Descend through increasingly difficult levels, collecting treasure and items while avoiding a hilarious array of deadly hazards. But Spelunky 2 isn't content to simply rehash old ideas. It introduces a slew of new mechanics, from rideable mounts like turkeys and rock dogs to branching paths that add strategic depth to each run. The game's expanded scope is evident in its intricate level design, which now features liquid physics, background layers, and more interactive elements than ever before. Visually, Spelunky 2 retains the charming pixel art style of the original, while significantly enhancing the detail and fluidity of animations. The expanded cast of characters and more intricate backstory provide a surprising depth to the world, though the heart of Spelunky 2 remains in its moment-to-moment gameplay. It's a game that demands mastery but never feels unfair, constantly pushing players to improve and discover new secrets. Moving forward, we have The Last of Us Part 2. Standing tall as one of the most ambitious and divisive sequels in gaming history, Naughty Dog's The Last of Us Part 2 transformed the critically acclaimed post-apocalyptic drama into a sprawling meditation on revenge and its consequences. It gave Ellie a brutally satisfying arsenal of weapons and survival tools while adding new dimensions to her character, exploring the lasting trauma of her experiences. The game also introduced a fantastically complex antagonist in Abby, whose story intertwines with Ellie's in unexpected ways. This unflinching tale of cyclical violence in a world ravaged by a fungal pandemic has only become more poignant since its release in 2020. The Last of Us Part 2 is not just a masterclass in graphical fidelity and animation, it's a narrative tour de force that pushes the boundaries of interactive storytelling. Through its controversial narrative structure and dual protagonists, the game challenges players' perceptions and loyalties, forcing them to confront uncomfortable truths about vengeance and empathy. Don't be deterred by its reputation for brutality. Despite its intense violence, Naughty Dog has crafted a deeply human story with moments of genuine tenderness amidst the chaos. Story beats are designed to be emotionally impactful, and even seemingly routine encounters are imbued with narrative significance. Of course, it's also a fully realized stealth action game with combat encounters that range from nerve-wrackingly tense to explosively cinematic. So, if you haven't played this game yet, you should definitely give it a shot right now. Unfortunately, Part 2 is still a PlayStation exclusive, unlike its predecessor, which was ported to PC last year. Next up is Celeste. Personally, I found this game as one of the best modern platformers around. It's beautiful, challenging, and full of heartfelt moments that can keep you emotionally invested for its entire duration. The mountain of Celeste is a daunting one, and the game doesn't ease you into it. That may have caused a lot of people to bounce off it initially, but when it finally clicks, it's irresistibly hard to put down. Sprawling levels open up and offer multiple paths to you at any given time, but no matter which way you go, there are exciting challenges to overcome and significant personal growth to experience alongside the main character, Madeline. And even though it was already a compelling game, Celeste has only gotten richer since its launch in early 2018. But whether you just want to reach the summit, uncover all the game's secrets, or even push further into its brutally difficult post-game content, Celeste is a journey worth taking. Up next is Super Mario Odyssey. It's hard to define Super Mario Odyssey. Reimagining the 3D platformer genre as a globe-trotting adventure in downright gorgeous style, it isn't afraid to play with the iconic plumber and the Mushroom Kingdom in ways that often feel more like a celebration than a continuation. But no matter what path this seemingly new direction for the series continues to blaze, and however you want to label Super Mario Odyssey, one thing is for sure. Whatever this is, it absolutely rules. Its platforming is some of the best around. The variety of worlds is dense and stunning, and its characters are lovable recreations of the cartoon-like figures fans have adored for decades. It may not be the traditional Mario game some were expecting, but it's also loaded with enough nostalgia that it's hard to be too mad about that. Super Mario Odyssey not only brought the series into the modern era, it set the stage for a whole new way to experience Mario games that's just as exciting. Simultaneously, one of the most innovative entries in the franchise, and also a loving tribute to its roots. The 2017 release took everything that made Mario a gaming icon and modernized it to thrill present-day gamers just as much as it had those who always saw the series through rose-tinted glasses. Built around the novel concept of possession via Mario's sentient hat, Cappy, it builds excitement with high-flying acrobatics against a diverse cast of enemies, and brings the Mario universe to life with rich detail as the story rapidly guides you through a series of unwaveringly impressive and imaginative kingdoms. There have been many games that have attempted to evoke Mario's magic over the years, but none that nailed it quite as well as this. Next up is Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon is a thrilling experience for many players. Those who are new to From Software might only know them for their work on the Souls series, but longtime fans remember when the studio captured hearts with the sci-fi mecha action of Armored Core. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon successfully takes the proven fundamentals of the classic series and blends them with the knowledge and experience gained from years of developing the Souls games. The end result is an action-packed, sometimes brutally challenging, but also strategically deep action game that rewards careful preparation as much as it does quick reflexes, featuring some of the most impressive boss encounters we've seen in recent memory. The game's mecha combat is a sight to behold, with towering machines clashing in explosive battles that fill the screen with chaos and destruction. Players will find themselves customizing their mechs with an array of weapons and parts, and each decision potentially making the difference between victory and defeat. This depth of customization, combined with the tight, responsive controls, creates a gameplay experience that is both satisfying and addictive. While the difficulty can be daunting at times, especially for newcomers to the series, the sense of accomplishment that comes from overcoming a particularly challenging boss or mission is unparalleled. It's this balance of frustration and reward that has become a hallmark of From Software's games, and it's on full display in Armored Core 6. Next up, we have Inside. Inside is not just the best puzzle platformer you can play right now, it's a haunting artistic experience in its own right. Through its roughly 4-hour journey, Inside slowly morphs from a seemingly straightforward chase sequence into a mind-bending exploration of control, identity, and the human condition. The game's finale brings a shocking and surreal conclusion to the nameless boy's adventure, introducing some truly bizarre scenarios, settling some unspoken questions, and, of course, leaving players utterly perplexed yet oddly satisfied. But don't be put off by its minimalist presentation. Despite lacking dialogue or explicit narrative, Playdead has crafted things so meticulously that if you pay attention, you don't really need any words to understand the story. Environmental storytelling is king here, with each carefully designed scene intended to be absorbed and interpreted by the player. Even the puzzles now have an organic feel to them, naturally flowing from one to the next instead of feeling like arbitrary obstacles placed in your path. Of course, it's also a fully realized gaming experience with gameplay that ranges from eerily calm underwater sequences to heart-poundingly intense chases. The controls are tight and responsive, making even the most challenging segments feel fair and conquerable. The atmosphere brings a pervasive sense of dread and unease that lingers long after you've put down the controller. Up next is The Witness. One of the most ingenious reinventions of the puzzle genre ever crafted, The Witness held nothing back as it dropped us onto a mysterious island and invited us to unravel its secrets, then ponder the implications of each revelation so that we could do it again, and again. While other puzzle games have arguably matched its complexity, for me, nothing beats the elegant simplicity of The Witness's line-drawing puzzles. This deceptively straightforward mechanic felt like it broke puzzle games out of a predictable mold. The year before had seen the Talos Principle, the Room 3, and Braid, all of which relied heavily on established puzzle tropes and didn't push the envelope quite as far. The Witness, however, has become even more impressive with time, and it's not hard to notice its influence in the games that have come along since, seeing as it collects all of these fiendishly designed brain teasers into one cohesive world. Just like the previous game on this list, The Witness has its ability to teach without words, guiding players through increasingly complex rules and concepts using only visual cues and careful design. The island itself is a masterpiece of environmental storytelling, with each area presenting new challenges and ideas that build upon what you've learned before. And to finally conclude this list, we have the Phantom Pain. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain was a revelation when it first launched back in 2015, boldly redefining the stealth action genre through its open-world design and meticulously crafted gameplay systems. Its blend of tactical espionage and base-building mechanics provides a refreshing twist on the surface. But its greatest trick is how it hides an entire game's worth of emergent storytelling just below. Instead of relying on lengthy cutscenes, it allows its narrative to unfold organically through player-driven experiences and environmental storytelling. Since the original Metal Gear, the result is a definitive evolution of Kojima's vision for newcomers and what is essentially a playground of possibilities for returning fans. It turns the incredibly difficult task of modernizing the Metal Gear formula into one that feels effortlessly innovative. Every mission, everything resets and reconfigures. The guards that had been neutralized return to their posts. A base that had been infiltrated becomes secure again, and you awaken to see a new set of objectives appear on your iDroid once more. In The Phantom Pain, you live through those same mission structures until you can successfully unravel the mystery of Big Boss's identity, among other plot threads, by exploring a vast open world across multiple conflict zones. This gorgeous, deeply engaging stealth sandbox is one of the best examples of player freedom and tactical ingenuity in gaming. The Phantom Pain encourages you to hop into your helicopter and go wherever you want, or just stay at Mother Base and manage your growing army. Should you feel lost or need a hint on what to do next, all of your intel and mission details are saved to your iDroid, which helpfully guides you towards your objectives, while still leaving room for creative problem solving. The only thing limiting your approach is your imagination, but even that can sometimes be your greatest asset. And that's it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And hey, let us know in the comments which games not mentioned on this list you think deserve the Masterpiece title.